So welcome to Yin Yoga, bolster, blocks, blanket, strap. Let's come down onto the back to start with and have the bolster positioned under the thighs. Make sure the head feels comfortable. You can have it propped up with a towel or a blanket. And bring your attention down to that area of the hips, the glutes, the buttocks, the waist, that little band of communion between the legs and the torso. And that little band, as we know, there's a lot going on down there. It works very hard to move us through life. We sit on that area, we walk. So there's a massive amount of nerves, blood vessels, ligaments, tendons, fascia streaming through that area to help transfer load from the upper body to the lower body. Place to stabilize the hips. And for now, at the beginning of practice, simply let it relax. And notice as you let the pelvis relax, the legs and feet can relax. If you relax again, you'll feel a wave of relaxation move up through the core of the body into the torso and the shoulder blades. So tonight, think of this area as a region of relaxation. That when we consciously relax this region, it ripples relaxation throughout the body. And when we work on the pelvis, the hips, the outer thighs, the piriformis, the more we can relax that area, the more we can open it. Especially in Yin Yoga, where we hold the poses for long periods of time. Inhale, bend the knees, drag the bolster up, lift the pelvis and bring the bolster underneath your waist, low back, hips, to a point where it feels comfortable, and then lower the head by removing the blanket or making it a little thinner. Bend both knees, cross left ankle over right. Grab the knees for a moment and simply circle the knees around the hip joint. So creating a little lubrication here in the hip area, simply through movement, lubricating different areas. And you might feel different tensions in the low back, the legs. And then change the cross of the ankle. Right ankle over left. And push the knees in the opposite direction. And then pause, keeping the knees bent, uncross the ankles, bring the hands out 90 degrees, palms face down, and simply sway the knees from side to side. Keep the knees together so you start to open up the outer hips and you feel a little stretch sensation come into the abdominals. So you're windshield wipering the thighs from side to side. Knees are bent, shins are parallel to the earth. Inhale, pause, lifting the legs into the air, pushing the heel bones up. Feel the back of the thighs stretching out. And then gently open the thighs out to a big wide V and then bring them back together. So we create a new windshield wipering bit. The feet are separating and then coming back together. Just getting the hip oiled up in all different directions before we start. Now the next time we bring the feet together, bend the knees and bring the strap over the left leg. And cross the right ankle over the left thigh. So you create a figure 4 here, but you're holding the left leg with the strap. So we'll be here for a while, so there's no need to hurry the stretch. Just find a delicious sensation. Heel driving towards the ceiling, toes curled back, strap being held, figure 4. Giving the low back time to release. The back of the left hamstring release. If the hands get agitated by the strap, every now and then simply release and re-grip. Sometimes the strap might create a little tension in the fingers and the hand. Keep working the toes back towards the shin, extending through the left heel, getting plenty of stretch in the back of that left leg. Now, take both ends of the strap into the left hand for a moment. Right hand is going to come down onto the ground next to your hip, just to stabilize you. And start to pull that left foot to the left, but keep the figure 4. Avoid falling off the bolster here. And just come over enough to feel sensation in the outer right hip. The low back, keeping that left leg straight, keeping the figure 4, keeping your balance. Come back to neutral, swap the strap into that right hand and bring that left hand out and pull the left leg to the right this time, keeping the figure 4. So we're getting into the outer hips towards the piriformis in a different way. Inhale, come back to neutral, remove the strap and bend the left knee. Let the left shin dangle. and push the left knee into the right ankle. So you kind of feel a pigeon pose starting to appear. Grabbing hold of that right foot and right knee, start to gently squeeze your pigeon into the chest. If your left leg gets tired at all, you can always let the left foot down and bring it back up when you're ready. So the left leg's doing a little bit of work to help push that right thigh in. So the left shin is just dangling and relaxed. And over time, gently increase the squeeze so you feel a nice release in that right piriformis. Exhale, release the left foot to the ground. Keep the figure four. Take your right hand and gently press into the right thigh, just below the hip crease. So you're pushing the right femur away from your hip. And reach the left arm over the head. Reach a little further with that left arm. And then gently release the pushing and the reaching. Bring the hands back. Now cross the right knee over the left knee, so you've still got the legs crossed, and create a little shin flop here. Have your strap handy. And then let the flopping come to a stillness. Pick up the left knee and pull both knees towards you. Grab hold of the kneecaps for a moment with your hands. So you feel a different input into that low back, piriformis, outer hips area. Now this is where it gets interesting. If you lift the head up a little bit, see if you can slide your right hand down to your left foot or your left ankle and just grip hold of it. If you cannot reach it, take your strap, wrap it around that foot and pull on the strap. So you're pulling the strap in, which pulls the foot in. So either way, right hand, left foot, right hand, strap on the left foot. And then the left hand's going to come down and grab the other foot. So the hands are grabbing the opposite feet. You lay the head back down and simply hold the sensation, letting the body melt into this deep, deep work in that right outer hip, that piriformis. So it's a little bit like shoelace pose on the back. So we often sit on blocks for shoelace pose, one knee over the other. So that might give you more of a sense of where those feet are headed. Those feet are headed for the opposite hips. The hands gently guiding them in that direction. Using the strap wherever you find it's useful and helpful. Letting the tension slowly release from that outer right hip. And then gently release the strap or the foot, the feet, and uncross the legs. Standing both feet on the mat for now. Feel the contrast between the right leg and the left leg, the right hip and the left hip. Slowly stretch out both legs. Feel the hip flexors here. Bring the hands over the head with the back of the hands on the ground, palms facing the ceiling, thumbs gently touching, thumb tips. Slide the ankles together, or the big toes. And feel a stretch through the abdominals. Notice how your shoulders feel. The back of the neck needs to feel long. Put yourself on the rack and someone gently pulls a rope around your wrists and pulls the wrists a little bit. So you feel a little length in the arms. Thumbs, tips still touching. Someone's tying a rope around the ankles and they pull your ankles out a little bit. So the rack has lengthened you. At this time, come back to your breath and let each breath be gentle, slow, and if possible, deep. So you feel the first part of the breath, inhale, and then there's a second part to the breath where you keep inhaling through the sticking point. And that's when you feel the stretch from the breath. Slow, gentle, deep breath. So the person who has your wrists tightens up a little bit more. Your ankles a little bit more. 5 more breaths here, deep, slow, gentle. Stretching out the tension, the yawns might start pouring out of the body. Remembering a yawn is just a release of tension. And slowly release. Oh. Feel the body longer. Grab the strap. Bring it into the right foot. Cross the left ankle over the right knee. And curl the toes back. So in the beginning, we're finding that comfortable angle for the legs. Hopefully feeling a little release in the low back here. Back of the right leg for sure. Hips opened up into the figure 4, which is nice. Pull back a little more if you can. Keeping the tension in the back of that right leg. And you might start to pull that right foot with the strap a little bit to the left and the right. So we're heading to that left and right movement in a moment, but you're just getting the leg used to the idea that as you pull it to the left, you roll towards the right hip. As you pull it to the right, you roll towards the right hip. And as you pull it to the left, you roll towards the left hip. So you feel that leg. And then bring both ends of the strap into the right hand. Left hand down to stabilize you. And start to pull to the right just enough so you feel that left outer hip. You don't want to fall off the bolster. But feeling the sensations that brings into the hips. Toes curled back. Inhale back to neutral. Notice how that feels. And then change the strap into the left hand. Right hand stabilizes. And start to pull that right leg to the left, coming towards the left hip. Not too far, you don't want to fall off the bolster, but you do want to feel something. Inhale, come back. Release the strap, bend the right knee, standing the right foot on the mat. Push the left thigh away from you. Right hand reaches over the head. Reach a little more with that right arm. Push a little more with that left hand. Trying to unclog the hips here, the pelvis. And then gently release and pick the right knee up and bring the figure four towards you. Grab hold of the left knee and left foot, hugging with the arms, pushing with the right knee. Not too much in the beginning, we're just starting to get there into the left piriformis, left thigh, left hip. And those with a little more experience might want to, each time you exhale, pull and squeeze a little tighter. And as you inhale, relax a little bit. So you create a slight pulsing. Exhale, squeeze tighter. Relax a little bit to inhale. And keep squeezing tighter until the exhale finishes. Then relax. And you might surprise yourself how deeply you can go into this stretch when you do it that way. And then exhale, release that right foot to the ground. Keep the figure four and slide the left knee over the right knee. And if it's available to you, create a little flopping action here. Have your strap handy. And then release the flopping, pick both knees up. Lift the head, and here we go. So if the left hand can reach out and grab that right foot, do so. Otherwise, lasso it with your strap. Hold it with your strap and then pull the strap back. So your left hand is grabbing the strap that's around the right foot, or it's grabbing the right foot. Slide the other hand down to your other foot. And it's important that you rest the head here. So if your head cannot rest on the ground, consider bringing a block or a cushion or something underneath it to make sure you're not straining the neck while you create this hip opening, this variation of shoelace pose. Ideally, the spine is long and along the ground, including the neck. But if you need some padding under the head, by all means, use it. And then explore this technique of increasing the squeeze as you exhale, and then giving yourself a little bit of leeway by relaxing as you inhale. Exhale, squeeze till the end of the exhale. Inhale, lighten the squeeze. And once again, you might be surprised how far you travel into this shape using this method. Letting the breath guide you deeper and deeper. And then letting the breath inhale, relax it, take the pressure off. You feel this deep in the piriformis. On the left side. Exhale, gently release the feet, uncross. Stand both feet on the mat and just feel the hips. Feel the legs. Extend the legs. Extend the arms over the head. Thumb tips touching. Back of the hands resting either on the carpet, the floor, or a blanket or something. Make sure the arms aren't suspended over the head, but they're actually resting on something. Even if you have to elevate with a blanket or a towel or a cushion or a block. Ankles together or big toes together. Somebody's wrapping a rope around the wrists and they gently pull it out a little bit. Notice how that impacts your breath. The rope around the ankles and they pull the ankles out a little bit. Now with this new stretch, this deeper stretch, master the breath. Try to inhale into that expanded breath. Even though we're breathing deeper, try to breathe with a minimalist attitude. So it's a gentle, slow, deep, expanded breath. And feel how that stretches you out a little more. Once again, the wrists get pulled a little more, the ankles a little more, so there's a little more going on. 5 more breaths here using the expanded breath to open you up. And then exhale, release. Soften the arms. Bend the knees and stand the feet on the mat. And feel, notice where you notice tingling, aliveness, sensation. Gently press down through the heels, lift the pelvis and move the bolster to one side. Clasp the hands under the head and bring the soles of the feet together, knees apart. So we're using this as a transition, so you may not need to prop the thighs up with blocks. We won't be here that long. Tighten the grip on the back of the neck and the skull. Take a deep breath in and exhale, lift the back of the head up with the hands and wrap your elbows around the skull. On the next exhale, engage the abdominals and come up a little higher and bring your knees together. Hold this abdominal crunch. Now tighten the arms around the skull very firmly. Take a deep breath in, and this time as you exhale, deepen the abdominal crunch but pull the skull away from the neck. Pull the neck away from the shoulders. So a deep traction here in the back of the neck. And then slowly release and roll to one side into a little ball. And then gently press up. And you might like to have a bolster and a blanket, or blocks and a blanket. Let's do the famous burrito roll with the blanket. Create your burrito. Bring it behind the sit bones and sit on the edge. So you have a slight forward tilt with the pelvis, and you bring the soles of the feet together. The soles of the feet together. If for some reason the hips, the inner thighs are too tight and this is very uncomfortable, you have the option of propping up the thighs with the blocks. Slide your sit bones towards the edge of the blanket so there's a tilt forward. There's a tilt forward. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see that tilt. So you can see I'm slightly tilted forward, but my back is straight. I'm not rounding the head. I've got my bolster ready. And once again, you can always prop up the legs with blocks if that's a little intense. Now, from here, bring the bolster in front of you and rest your head on the bolster. If the bolster, you don't have a bolster, consider stacking a couple of blocks on top of each other and resting your head on blocks. Now, either way, over time, as you open up, you can invite the bolster out further so the head lowers, or you can rearrange the blocks so the head lowers. Once again, if this gets too much for the hips, consider propping them up with cushions or blocks. So this is a big hip opener, the low back releasing. Obviously, the further the head comes down, the more intensity you're going to feel on the hips. You can use your hands to support you out in front. We call this butterfly pose. You can have the feet further away from the body or closer to the body, so there's different variations in that as well. And there'll come a point in the pose where you simply become patient. You just hang out there. You've got just the right amount of sensation. You've got the right amount of support. Your breathing is manageable. You can relax the upper body. That's the other thing, using the bolster or the blocks for the head really allows the upper body to relax. There's no strain on the neck or shoulders. It's all happening in the hips. Now to pick yourself back up, use the hands to push you back up. Do not use the back. So you're coming up very gently indeed. You pick those knees up, standing the feet on the mat, and come off the blanket and just lean back into the hands for a moment. Bring the shoulders back, open up the chest, and if you feel comfortable, lift the chin and stretch the throat. Squeeze the shoulders a little more so you open the chest a little more, bring the head to neutral. And then begin to rotate the head to the left. Inhale, neutral. And then the right. Do that a few more times, swiveling left and right. And as you do that, just notice how your hips feel after that long opening. And then come down onto your back. And cross the right knee over the left. Just take a moment to feel how your low back feels, your tailbone. Then press through the heel bone and roll onto your left hip and bring the knees to the left, keeping the arms out 90 degrees. If this is too intense on the outside of that right hip, consider supporting one or both knees with cushions, blankets, or other. If you feel like you could go a little deeper, take the left hand onto the outer right knee and start to pull it slowly towards the floor. Now this could be another one of those situations where as you exhale you pull it down,
And as you inhale, you release the intensity. And over time, you might again be surprised how much range of motion you actually can find in this twist. This is coming deep into the piriformis on that right side too. If you like, you can extend left arm up over the head so you create that rib stretch. And notice what that does to the twist. Does it give you more range of motion? Inhale, release the pressure. You start to straighten the bottom leg and roll onto your back and come back to neutral, relaxing both legs. Feel the contrast between the right side and the left side, hip and leg, and maybe low back. Bending both knees, we're going to take the left knee over the right. Take a while at the beginning simply to feel this in the low back, tailbone area. Push down with the right foot. Lift the pelvis, roll to the right pelvis, knees fall to the right, hands out 90 degrees. And become patient. Wait for it. Can you let your mind enter that left hip, that left lower back, the left glute? Can you let your mind send a soothing, relaxing message to that area of the body? So you use your mind to help that area of the body relax and let go. So the mind-body connection becomes very real when you can send the mind into that part of the body and literally feel it relax. Once again, the right hand could, if it felt right for you, start to apply a little pulling down on that left thigh, especially with the exhale. Relax the back off on the inhale. Exhale. Left arm can come over the head if you'd like the extra rib cage opening. And just like you use the mind to relax the part of the body that's probably feeling a lot of sensation. See if you can use the mind to slow your breath down and allow you to gently deepen the breath. So once again, the mind being the servant here, not the master. Using the mind to help the body, to help the breath. And then gently, slowly release. Come onto your back. Come into Shavasana. You might want to support the thighs with your bolster or not. You might like to spread the thighs into a V shape. Your arms can be in any position that feels most natural. And once again, inviting the mind to create a little mantra here. So with each exhale, I relax even more. I relax even more. I relax even more. So the mind has a powerful influence on the body. I relax even more. Let go of the idea that something's wrong. Let your attention come back to the breath. And to the ambience of your environment. Fragrances, textures, sounds. Start to bring the feet and the hands the limbs alive, maybe bending or stretching or squeezing the body back into movement. And then gently roll to one side. And when you're ready, come on up. Come into that comfortable seat. And notice how your hips, legs, how you feel when the seat of the body is opened up. Thank you for joining me tonight, everyone. Namaste. Lovely, thank you.